Hey, it's your old pal Steve Areno. Another update on the Durango Press HOn3 Rio Grande Southern Rotary Snowplow. Part 3, take 1. Boom. Okay, well, we've been doing a little bit more work here. Gosh, back when I was working and time that I could contribute to the hobby was restricted to purchasing of the annual HOn3, I guess they call it the annual journal. I remember reading in there, Lane Stewart, who's a guy who contributed to one of the annual editions, said the thing that made HOn3 modelers a little different is we don't have any really big name heroes necessarily, but what we do have is we have a fraternity that's built on just making stuff yourself. And that always stuck out of my mind, and it's certainly true in this modeling effort that I'm doing here. You have to sort of go slow and steady and just keep figuring out what you're going to do. So let me move things around here a little bit and show you what we've got. So as mentioned in the previous kit reviews, and what I'm doing here is I'm starting with the Durango Press Rio Grande Western Rotary Snowplow and converting it into the Rio Grande Southern Rotary Snowplow with all of the differences all along the line. Well, internet is so fantastic because, you know, you've found a set of plans. And again, you know, reaching back to what I know about architecture, this is showing the internal framing of the sidewalls, and then what they call the cab area here, it's showing the side looking wall, and then they're showing other side, which is this side, and then they're showing the wall that existed to get up in there from here to here, 2 doors. Okay, so we've got detail on this, and that. And it's showing all of these dimension lumber sizes, and using proportionality, I know the distance from here to here. I was able to figure out all of the distances for this window, set of 2 window openings here, the door, the sill cut down into this 2x9, these 2 openings with the 2x5 in between, this bracing, and this opening for the door, and then the access inspection panel openings here, here, and here. So everything gets nailed down positively by working through proportionality and knowing the dimensions of lumber. Now, that lumber back in these days was different than the lumber nowadays. This was true dimension lumber, so if it said 2x5 or 3x5 or 2x9, that's what it was. It wasn't like today where a 2x4 is, you know, 1.5 by 3.5. This was true dimension. That today we have with, you know, the sort of nominal dimension lumber. That's one thing you have to know when you go through and calculate all of this. And also the type of, they didn't have all the Simpson nailing hardware that we have nowadays. They had a lot, you know, drilling and bolting and lag bolting and things like that. But that won't show up in the model. So I'm going to build this internal bracing, and then I'm going to cut out the sides from the material supplied in the kit, model the inside. No one will ever see it, but it'll be kind of nice to know it's there, and I'll try to accomplish something like this if I can. Okay, this piece here, I won't have to do that because that piece is supplied in the kit. Here's you know, the outside. So this piece will go here, right? This from the tender to the boiler, the 2 doors. Maybe I'll do something here. We'll sort of, you know, burn that bridge when we come to it. But there we go. You know, having a blast, lots of fun, figuring stuff out. And again, isn't modeling great? We just can figure out how the world worked. All right, bye. Guys, here's a quick update on the framing. As you recall, I mentioned earlier this picture I found out on the internet, primarily 2x9 down here, 2x7 up here. You get some 2x7 here and here. Most of the verticals are 2x5s as well as the diagonals. And let's see, there was one 2x8. It was right here. It was notched for this door. Since the previous video, I found a picture on one of my books that showed this door actually sliding back like a barn door on each side. So I'm gonna have to look into that. It would make sense, although the question is, how does it get past this wall? As I mentioned earlier, we've got this bulkhead wall here, but it doesn't seem to have any slot for a door that would move back. So we'll try to get the answer to that question. So anyway, you have all of this sized lumber, and one trick, in case you are not familiar with the way to do it, is you'll notice that this is all 2x material, just the widths are different. So one way you can accomplish that is you can get sheet stock. Basswood is best to use, not balsa, basswood. And then they have a nifty device, which is a stripper gauge. So what you can do is you can get the 5-inch, 7-inch, 9-inch, and you set this by turning the knob, and you want to have the blade just touching the cutting mat surface. And then once you measure off the width, then you can strip pieces, right? And then you'll end up with material that you can use for the framing. So I'll end up making 2 of these walls. This is the inside framing, and you're seeing here that I've got it all pinned down over the plan, which I created using my micrometer and pencils, drawing technique, old draftsman stuff. Back before CAD, we used to do hand mechanical drafting, and a simplified version of that to generate this elevation, and then using that with a piece of wax paper, pins, and a lot of cutting, because some of this stuff is at angles, and you want it to be nice and tight on the joints. And I'm using resin wood glue for this. So I'll end up making 2 of these. And these openings here, as I mentioned earlier, are window, window, full-size door, window, window, inspection panel. Looks like barn sliding door for cab entry, and an inspection panel down here. This is the front. This is the back to the tender. And then we'll use the same method over. So having a lot of fun. I'm just motoring along. Just slow and steady is the way to go. All right, bye. Here's a real quick update. We've got both sides now. This was a little easier on this model because both are exactly the same. In larger scale balsa aircraft, I would sometimes build one side right on top of the other to ensure trueness, etc. But here it turned out to be a little bit more convenient to just go one at a time like this. I'm starting to work on the outside front of the cab portion here. This is the inside over here. So this has got this herringbone sheathing going this way like this, and this is on the inside of it. So that's that side. It's cut out of one piece like this. All right, so we're just continuing to move along. We're kind of jumping, kind of squinting at the instructions from the Durango Rio Grande Western, and then we're kind of mentally translating over to how we want that to adapt and change and morph into what will be required for the Rio Grande Southern. Okay, so as soon as I get this and this knocked out, I'll be able to have this going here. That will go here, and then we're going to build this, which will go here, and then I'm going to figure out the sliding barn doors on each side of the cab here. Makes sense because this 2x material that's back here is what's right there, and obviously there would be another one that's shown there, which is supporting the flooring for the cab, which will run between the back of this wall back to this wall here, so that when they climbed up, slid the door back, got in, they would be standing on this area here, looking out these windows. Okay, hope that makes sense. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, guys, welcome back. Here's a quick update what we've been doing. So I made a couple copies of my pin down pattern, and then I took that and used adhesive spray glue to stick that to the back of one piece of the scribed wood and the front of the other, because you don't want to end up with 2 of the same side, right? And I've only had one elevation. And then cut out the openings. It's very, very fiddly. So you're going to end up, and I did, with a couple places that it cracks. I'm still trying to figure out how I might prevent that on this next side. Bottom line is, when I fit it all up, it went together like a glove, just fell all together. I went ahead and built the front here with the herringbone scribed siding here and here, these pieces, and then flipped it over and built the vertical siding here. I just used strip wood of 3x4 size to approximate what was going on the inside, because I didn't have any smaller material, and nobody's ever going to see it anyway. So that's back here. And then going back to my surgically altered housing and fitting that up, it's going to look just about right. I mean, that is landing within an approximation It's actually going to land right in here, which matches very, very closely the prototype pictures. I've seen other images where this space in here, let me drop this down, this space in there gets filled in, and obviously you have to clear the drive shaft that's coming through for the snow blades here. So everything is looking right. It's all fitting together pretty good. Okay, we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye. Here is the final installation video segment before the end of the Christmas holiday break. Getting ready to go back to teaching school tomorrow, and sports will follow shortly thereafter as we get ready for a track season. So I'll probably have to put this away either this summer or maybe even next holiday season. But what a great time we've had pursuing converting the Durango Rio Grande Western Snowplow into the Rio Grande Southern Snowplow. So how have we done? Okay, so here is, let me zoom in here a little bit closer and see where we've gotten this season. So here you can see all of the pieces fitted together, and it went together like a glove. So I've got both sides, the scribed siding cut out and placed on top of the framing, and you can see the framing here. Of course, the same framing is on the inside of this wall. And again, as we've said before, following our interior elevation for the framing, we've got from front to back, we've got door, inspection panel, inspection panel, inspection panel, window, window, full-size door, and two windows here, which will have just the vertical mullion fitting in between, right? And then the wind wings, which were made like this. This piece right here, as was detailed on the plans, and if you look and follow closely, it's made to notch and cover over siding right here on each side. Okay, and we've got the front here. The shroud is in place, and it's fitting up just about right, matching very closely the prototype pictures, and went ahead and built this interior wall right here with the two doors from the main space to the cab space. And there was that question about leaving room for the cab doors to slide back, like I had seen in some prototype pictures. Well, isn't the internet great? I went and searched around and found some photographs of the Cumbrous and Toltec rotary snowplow, and they show an interior view from the main space towards the cab, and you are in fact seeing the doors on each side. And then here, I can make it out on what I'm looking at. It might be a little hard on the camera, but you can make out this door being able to slide back, the cab door sliding back past this interior wood frame, right, which separates the jamb of the door and then provides like a sliding door pocket here that goes back against the siding. You see it over here. And then on the other, well, then I guess it was the case that these inspection panels, which are on the side here and here, you somehow climbed up and walked across, skittered across, and then opened that door and then went back down into the cab. The same thing over here on the left side, you know, man door, stairs up, across the top of the inspection access panels, which are below this, through that door, and then into the cab. So there's kind of inspiring here. There's enough information in these photographs where it wouldn't, you know, be exactly prototypical, but it would be suggestive. And this is just a model that I can go ahead and use some white plastic and sort of replicate something like the boiler in here and paint it all up like you're seeing in these pictures, which might be a lot of fun. And then it looks like the interior roof white, the ceiling, so to speak, was white. A lot of green being here, like locomotives would have. So we'll have that, and then of course, you know, the light boxcar red on the outside. Looks like the floor was just left natural and then got oily and grimy. So we could certainly approximate that. It doesn't look like they ever bothered painting the floor. They just sort of left it natural and let the natural oils give it its color. So we've got all that. Yeah, everything fit together, really, really nice. I'm having a fun time putting this together and figuring out how it works. But okay, we're just gonna put this all away in the box until next time we have a chance to work on it. All right, guys, bye.